What's good, everybody? The latest in my home workout series for beginners. We're talking about a leg workout for both men and women. If you're a woman, keep in mind that from an aesthetic perspective, if you want to work on your figure, it's all about that perfect leg workout. A great leg workout works your quadriceps, that's your leg muscle, as well as your glutes or your bum. And for the guys, keep in mind, never be this guy.
Bro, legs कौन करता है यार? Legs for pussy.
Bro, leg में pain होता है leg workout. Your lower body is as important as your chest or your back or your arms. Never be that guy who turns into something like this because he's too lazy to do leg workouts. Leg workouts are what separate the men from the boys. So let's get straight to the form. Now, before we start talking about the exercise side of things, there's a few ground rules that you need to know. Firstly, if you've got a pair of dumbbells at home, that's great. If you don't have a pair of dumbbells, make sure you buy yourself a pair of dumbbells. But in saying that, keep in mind that dumbbells aren't compulsory. They will help you a lot in your exercise regime, but you can only use your own body weight as well as the weight of a heavy school bag, like we do in most of the BeerBiceps home workouts. So exercise number one, the mother of all exercises, the squat. Master this exercise in the long term. Even if you're someone who doesn't want to work your leg muscles, it's the most important exercise in the book. And if you don't want to listen to the rest of the video, don't. But take away this one protocol. Very important, throughout the movement, you have to push through your heel. Everyone knows a little bit about the squat, but this golden rule people completely forget about. Golden rule of life: when you're squatting, push through your heel. The secondary precautions are all the other precautions. That's keeping your feet about shoulder width apart, keeping your arms in front of you or behind your head, and finally arching your lower back, sticking your bum out a little bit. Remember, your squat is meant to work your glute as well as your quadricep or your leg muscle. So it is going to work your leg muscle, but if you want to activate your glute, it's all about sticking your bum out throughout this exercise. What sticking your bum out also helps with is keeping your heel in contact with the ground. While you're going down, while you're going up, your heel has to be the pushing factor, the pushing force. And also, very importantly, keep in mind that in the squat, a lot of people don't complete their range of motion. Either they'll go just till about parallel, maybe not even parallel, and a lot of people might go a little bit below parallel. Now, parallel or below parallel is correct, but you've got to keep in mind that if you're working your legs at home, you've got to aim to go completely low as it goes. The lower you go, the more intense the exercise becomes. And at home, where we don't have all these heavy weights to add resistance, you need to add resistance using an increased range of motion. So focus on going as low as possible, but I can't stress on this enough. Push through your heel. Now, if you want to add a little bit of resistance to your squat, this is where your dumbbells come into play. So take the dumbbells, hold them over your shoulder and squat using the dumbbells as weight. That'll add resistance to your movement. And if you don't have dumbbells at home, that's when you can go for a heavy school bag. Remember, make it a little bit heavy using some books. Hold it in front of you and perform goblet squats. Goblet squats are where you hold the dumbbell in front of you and then squat. But in this case, we're doing this goblet squat with the help of your school bag. The next exercise is a simple step up, which keep in mind is just a variation of the squat. It's an optional exercise in this program, but if you're someone who's getting bored of the squat, or if you're someone who wants to make it a little bit harder for your leg muscles, that's when you can go for a step up. Once again, the only precaution you've got to keep in mind is that you push through your heel even during this movement. Remember, pushing through the front of your foot adds a lot of load to your knees. So any movement where you're using your leg to kind of push against some resistance, be it your body weight or the weight of a dumbbell, push through your heel. So find yourself a slightly elevated surface. It should be about your knees height, not too much higher than that, and perform step-ups on it. And how do you perform it? You just step up onto that surface where you push through your heel, and through the strength of your leg, your body weight is getting lifted onto that elevated surface. It's as simple as that. Keep in mind, if you want to add a little bit of resistance to this movement, it's about holding dumbbells on the side of your body or on top of your shoulders like we did in the squat. The next key exercise we're talking about is the basic lunge. Now, a lunge can be done using alternate legs together or one leg at a time. I'm a fan of doing alternate legs in the same set. How do you do this? Your hands either need to be behind your head or on top of your hips. And as for your legs, while you're performing the lunge, the further ahead you take your forward foot, the more your glutes or your bum gets worked. The closer you keep your forward foot to the body, the more your quads get worked. So the golden spot, in my opinion, is somewhere in the middle. And how do you decide that middle spot? This is the rule I follow. I keep the lower half of my leg, so from my knee till the sole of my foot, completely straight. The lower half of your entire leg should be perpendicular to the ground. It should be as straight as possible throughout the movement. So you take your forward foot in front, lunge with it, and then try getting back up to your original position. Then do that same movement with the other leg. And if you want to add resistance to the movement, once again, it's about holding dumbbells on the side of your body or wearing a heavy bag and then performing the lunges. Next, let's move on to the stiff leg deadlift. Now, we spoke about the normal deadlift in our back workout from the home workout series, but a stiff leg deadlift is used to work your hamstrings or the part of your leg behind your thigh, the back of your thigh. Your hamstrings are a very important factor in your overall strength levels and even the aesthetics of your legs. So how do you do this movement? The key here is keeping your legs as straight as possible, keeping a minimum angle in your knees and only using your lower back to move the weight. Now in this exercise again, we're going to arch our lower back a little bit, hold dumbbells in front of us, and while our legs are straight, we're going to bend in front and come back up with an arch in our lower back. If you don't keep an arch in your lower back, you're going to end up injuring yourself, and that's something we want to avoid. Remember, if you're performing this with a dumbbell or even a heavy bag, take very light weights in this. Master the form first and then move on to slightly heavier weights. Also keep in mind that all the pressure of the movement, the feel of the movement should come in your hamstring. You should be able to feel it at the back of your leg. And finally, let's move on to calf raises. You can perform these again with an elevated surface. So make sure that half your foot is placed inside the surface, half is outside. You should place your foot on the surface such that the edge of the surface bisects your foot or cuts it in half. With half your foot outside, you need to understand that the ball of your foot is the point of contact. In order to perform this movement, use the ball of your foot to lower your body as far as it goes and then elevate your body as far as it takes you. If you want to add resistance to the movement, hold weights on the side, hold it over your shoulder or wear a heavy bag instead. Now let's move on to the actual exercise plan, but also keep in mind that as always, the detailed written version of the plan is in the description box. Also keep in mind that this isn't the fixed plan that you need to follow if you want to work your legs. This is a reference plan for you to learn from and understand and develop something for your own needs. If you want to figure out what kind of weights you should be lifting in every set or how many reps you should be doing, remember the rule of 80% of failure. Failure in a workout set is where you take your workout till the point where your body can't push any further. So if you're squatting and there's no energy left in your legs, that's called taking it to failure. We are not going to go to failure in every single set. We're going to go to 80% of failure. So your legs should feel a burn, but they shouldn't be burnt out. They should be burnt out about 80%, no more than that. So the exercise plan will of course start with squats. The most important exercise, not just for your legs, but even generally. You're going to pump out 4 compulsory sets of squats. In every set, try increasing the number of reps you're going for or the weight you're lifting. After these 4 compulsory sets are done, you have an option of doing 3 optional sets of squats, or instead of the squats, you can go for 3 sets of step-ups. There isn't a very big difference between doing step-ups and squats, but the next movement is very crucial. We're talking about 3 sets of lunges. So you can choose whether to do alternate leg lunges or do one leg at a time, but make sure you pump out 3 sets for both the legs. Next, let's talk about the stiff leg deadlift for the glutes and the hamstring. Once again, 3 sets. Every subsequent set, you either increase the weight or the number of reps. And finally, we can move on to the calf raise movement. Again, for the calf raises, depending on your goal, you can go for 3 to 6 sets of the calf raises. If you're someone who wants to show off your calves from an aesthetic perspective, I'd suggest you do about 6 sets of calf raises. So that was the detailed leg workout at home. If you want the workouts for the other body parts, make sure you check out the home workout series playlist. And if you want to know a little more details about your legs anatomy and how to work your legs even better, make sure you check out our leg workout video from the Bollywood Body series. I'm Ranveer, this is BeerBiceps. Make sure you subscribe to it, and until next time guys, from all of us here, we'll see you later.